Ladies and gentlemen.
Got my good side?
Oh, yeah. Is it good side? Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. My name is Arthur Mexican from The Geek Life, and I'm here today with Alex Davis of Courtex Studios.
Hi.
He's a fantastic photographer, and one of the things I always like to ask photographers, or anyone in general actually, is your origin story. How did you get into photography? Was it something that you were introduced to as a kid by a family member, or is it something you discovered on your own?
That's a good one. Neither.
Okay.
So, my girlfriend
Yeah.
actually is a cosplayer, Courtney Lee Creations, and she had, when we met,
Yeah.
was doing like this costume, and she had no dedicated photographer, and she had this little Nikon D40,
Yeah.
which, if any of the photographers out there know, it's a super old camera, and but whatever. And she just threw it at me, and she was like, "Go take pictures of me." And I was like, "I don't know how to take pictures." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll do it in post. Just come outside in the backyard and take pictures of me."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, let me get down here and take this stupid angle, and I'll turn the camera, and these are terrible, but I think they're awesome.
Yeah.
And I was so like into it, and I'm like looking at these, and she's like, "Hey, some of these actually came out pretty good. You have
Oh,
a cool
cool.
like knack for angles." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Really?" So she's like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Let's go do all your costumes." And then all of a sudden, I started doing them at cons, and I don't know, for those of you who know me, back in the day, I was a cosplayer, not a photographer.
Oh, interesting.
And
okay.
so then I started wanting to take pictures of other people's
Yeah.
cosplays, and I was like, "This is so cool," and I just got really into it. And so then I was like, "Well, now I gotta get a better camera." And then once I got a better camera,
Yeah.
I never looked back.
all
There's no
flows.
way.
Yeah.
Everything is just... Because you can capture the world through your eyes,
Yeah.
the way you see it, the way that you wish it was. Like, it's something... It's really passionate.
Yeah.
Like, you can't explain it. You really can't. You really can't. It's probably in the... You're probably...
Oh, yeah, I totally.
So, yeah, that's just...
And how many years ago was this that you started?
4 now.
4? Nice.
Yeah.
He's one of the most well-respected and prominent photographers in Arizona, I would say, at least.
My head is, like, growing right now.
So it's cool to hear that he started not when he was younger or in high school, but actually like 4 years ago. So that's actually really inspiring. Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who can attest to that fact that when you get really into something, like I started studying YouTube, I started following like Grant Brummett was amazing, you know, for me back in the day. When I first started, I had my little stupid camera, and I was just like trying to follow him around, and he would give me tips and tricks, and he was totally into it. He would look at my stuff, and I'm like, looking back on it now, I'm like, these photos are crap. But like back then, he was like, "Oh no, this is good," and this, and instead of like putting me down and be like, "Oh no, those suck," he was just like, "This is what you did right. Maybe you should try this next time," and he was just super awesome. So I started doing that, and then again, YouTube channels.
Right on.
YouTube, self-taught.
Yeah.
Hashtag YouTube certified.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
a lot of people are going over to that nowadays instead of like the formal classical training of schools. Yeah, so it saves you money and it also gives you quality education.
well, I feel like personally, the classic education, which there's nothing wrong with that, like, because you get a lot of good information out of it, and a lot of the classically trained people are like really good.
Yeah.
I feel though, when you're classically trained, some people get trapped into the rules and the laws.
Yeah.
And people forget that photography is an art.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as right or wrong.
Exactly.
It's what you like. It's your art. Art is subjective. Art is just whatever you like, and if other people will share that, and if they don't, then that's just not. I mean, again, art is what you're. You know, it's yours.
Yeah, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. And
like
what would
that.
you say is one of your most favorite moments over the 4 years that you've been a photographer? Would it be something like a prominent like shoot with someone, or some small victory that really meant a lot to you when you were younger?
I really can't say.
Okay.
You actually covered it in the description on the Facebook post for this, and I really actually liked that you had noticed, because you were like, "Oh, he shoots from everything from like really well-known people to the local closet cosplayer," and that's the beauty of it for me. That is it in a nutshell. It's not like, "Oh, I'm in a magazine," which I'm in 4.
Nice.
No, it's not. "Oh, I'm in a magazine," or "Oh, I got to shoot Jessica Negri."
Yeah.
It's the every single day. Was this picture better than the picture before?
Yeah.
And even in the same shoot, like as I'm going and as I'm building on this shoot, and as I see new ideas, or I add this or take away that, those small victories in every single shoot I do just makes it worth it, because it's like every single shot is different, and every single shot to me is like, wow, I just did that. And like, you can tell yourself, I created that. That's my world. Yeah. And now everybody else is going to get to see it. And so it's every shoot. Every single thing I do is a victory for me.
Nice.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who I'm shooting, where I'm shooting, or if I'm shooting for a fashion line, or this magazine, or if I'm just shooting for my next door neighbor's high school graduation. It doesn't matter. It's a victory. That's a victory. Me being able to do it for that person, and that person being happy that I did it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
right
what
on.
it is.
And on the opposite question, what would you say what was your least favorite moment? Was it more so like something professional that fell through, or is it just like a small victory or a small defeat that meant the world to you and all that?
Oh, you know what? This actually is probably very recent. Mm-hmm. It was at Anime Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I actually got my whole weekend paid for by a couple of shoots that I had. And
wow, nice.
Yeah, they wanted me there so bad. I was like, well, it's going to be at least such and such for me to justify coming just for you. And they were like, done. And I was like, right on. So I was super stoked. And then when I got there, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
The hotel plans kind of worked okay. Wi-Fi didn't work, so I couldn't even post the photos. And then when I got to the con, the locations weren't what I was looking for. The lighting wasn't what I was looking for. The people who hired me wanted me inside. They wanted inside shots. So I got a badge. 15 minutes after getting a badge, I lost the badge.
Oh.
They wanted to charge me like the full
same
price, and I couldn't afford it. I had to talk them into coming out. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough, and by the end of the con, I was pretty defeated.
Oh, yeah.
I was. And luckily, they love their photos. I again, that's the thing with photography, is I worked around it. I got them to come out. We walked around the con. We found a good location, and I was able to get something for them that they really loved and enjoyed. So that's great. But for me, personally, I felt like I had to force it.
Yeah.
And that's
as
not
an artist, that's
ideal.
not something that happens. Yeah.
Right, that's not ideal as a creative. You want it to be
to flow,
your flow.
Feel, yeah.
And instead, I had to force it. And when you force it, you don't feel like you gave that person your all.
Yeah.
And so that was a personal defeat for me.
Yeah.
So
as long as you like the photos, that's really good. And again, so a bit of a silly question. You are a supervillain and about to take over the world. All right, the world's heroes are trying to come and stop you, and you can choose two characters from any universe to be by your side to stop them from stopping you. What two characters would you choose to be by your side?
Ooh. I would have to say Albert Wesker from Resident Evil.
Yeah, good choice.
Because for one, he's an absolute genius.
Yeah.
And for two, he's unkillable. I know everybody thinks that he's gone because of the whole lava thing, but no.
He's probably not,
I don't think he's gone. And then, let's see, for number two, I'd probably have to go with the Joker.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Joker.
Okay.
Again, super genius. He may not have super strength or anything, but you know what? Wesker's my muscle.
Yeah.
Wesker's my muscle, and you got the Joker, who's he's psychotically genius.
So you don't know what he's going to do.
You don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to have a plan, and for some reason, that version of the Joker, and a couple of others, but that version of the Joker in particular knew the future somehow. He knew what they were going to do. So I would probably go with them. I'd have my planner, I'd have my muscle, and then whatever superpowers I had, would probably be like flight and super strength, because
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, for sure. And what piece now you gave a lot of advice to aspiring photographers, but is there another piece of advice that you would give to them that you would say you wish that you knew when you were actually coming up, as a photographer? Whether it's something like, pay attention to your social media game, or have contracts all the time or whatever, or what piece of advice would you give?
One solid, really good piece of advice, and I'm sure that a lot of people out there that are doing photography already have heard it, but a good, solid piece of advice is always don't stop shooting. Always, every day, shoot something. I don't care if you go in your backyard and shoot a flower. Shoot something. Your first 10,000 photos are your worst.
Yeah.
So you just keep shooting, you keep learning. Make sure you learn from your mistakes. Look at your photos and say, I can do this better, I can do that better, and just keep going and trying, and just don't stop.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Perfect. Awesome. And where can we find you online?
So there's www.courtexstudios.com. I know
Do you want to show us the shirt?
Oh, you know what? Courtex Studios, courtexstudios.com, Facebook, Courtex Studios, Instagram at courtex.studios, because somebody took
it?
Courtex Studios. They've never posted.
Yeah.
0 posts, 0 followers, but they have it.
Yeah.
And I am also on Twitter at Courtex Studios, which I don't normally post on, but I do every now and again. But mostly Instagram, Facebook, and my website.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us, and see you guys later.
Yeah.